Welcome back from the Thanksgiving break. It's good to see that our man was pardoned, the man of the year. Anyways, quiet, quiet, quiet. Markets are filled with complacency, not much going on. Wasn't much opportunity to do much today, as you saw. Fucking Biden. There you go. I got it in the first minute. You knew he was going to pardon. There was never a question he was going to pardon this kid. I don't care what he said. But anyways, I mean, it's quiet. I mean, those who traded with me this morning, did you see any more action the rest of the day? Did you see anything that you wanted to do? Again, was there some opportunity? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'll give you this way. I traded today. I traded 89 contracts total today. Yes, he is. So again, I think that there's, listen, I guess, we keep waiting for something to trigger the market. Okay. I went to Home Depot in the motorcycle shop. There you go. Okay, getting ready for Vegas, baby. Baby, getting ready. When are you coming in? But we keep waiting for something. Today would have been ISM. There's jobs. There's this. There's that. Hey, look, bottom line is when the markets are ready to move, they'll move. And it's not for us to tell the markets what to do. It is for us to try to find high probability trades that we can take little bits of risk and make little bits of money. Okay, because the big scores are not available right now. Okay, obviously there's some individual stocks which you'll see that have had some pretty big moves, but in general, the general market right now is pretty quiet. Okay, again, is it the end before the break? Because the markets are going to have a big sell-off. Now, again, I don't know that it'll be this year because, of course, it is Christmas time. It is the fourth quarter. There's only been one major sell-off that I can remember during Christmas, and that was 2018. But all the stuff that Trump wants to do, and hopefully it'll be successful, is going to create some pain for everybody first, right? The living the high life, the Miller High Life is, going to be put some damper on it. We just had Black Friday, which was, now again, this is always a tricky number, right? It was 3% higher, 3.4% higher than last year. But I ask you, what is the inflation between this year and last year? Okay, is it higher than 3.4%? Okay, and secondly, I ask you, is what was the profit margin that the stores were working in? And that, listen, it might have been great. Again, I don't know. But I have to wonder, the same thing as I wonder about the election. Okay. If we go back to 2020, okay, there was 170 million votes cast, approximately. The candidates got the first and second amount of votes ever in history. This year, for the first time since 2004 or whatever it was, a Republican got the popular vote. Okay. But there was only 140 million votes count. So you tell me, this was supposed to be the most contentious election. Where's the other 30 or 40 million votes? Okay. So I don't know what the profit was for these stores that had higher sales. Okay. Again, I'm not saying it's good or it's bad. I don't know. Okay. But I do know that if you're among the middle class, the times are pretty tough. Okay. Some of you lost your jobs, some of you aren't working. Again, so jobs suck, and I guess we'll get a picture of that on Friday. I don't know if they'll be good or bad. I mean, again, it really doesn't matter. But what you have now in a market is you have what is known as a very dull market. Okay. And dull markets will continue to rally until they don't, because there's no sellers right now that are looking to get into this market. Okay. Why? Well, I don't know. I mean, again, there's nobody knows the real answer as to why the markets are what they are. But what we have to remember as traders is the markets are what they are. Okay. So you cannot I cannot force the markets to do what I'd like them to do. I can't create more action than there is there. All I can do is choose to trade what is there or choose to observe and sit on the sidelines. For me, I'd rather sit on the sidelines right now. Okay. I mean, it has nothing to do with my long-term trading. It has nothing to do with what I'm hedging. It has nothing, but from a short-term active trader, does anybody see a reason to be active in the current market that we have right now? Does anybody see the reason to be active? Okay. And I would guess the answer is no. Okay. Now, again, you're seeing a bunch of Chinese goods being shipped in through Mexico because they just changed the label to say made in Mexico. You've got the BRICS nations going on with the trying to get the currency changed. Does anybody believe that that's actually going to work? Just out of curiosity, again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's a legitimate question that I'm asking you. Does anybody think that that's going to work? Okay. Does anybody think that they're going to be able to muscle the United States? Okay. Just out of curiosity, it's just an open question to everybody. Okay. I already gave my answer because I did an interview about it today. Okay. But I'm curious as to what you think. Thank you, sir. I hope you as well. You as well. Even though we're on different sides, we can still be friends, brother. And I would never let that affect our relationship. Okay. Um, so again, we got the stocks had one of their best months ever. Hey, good. Listen, it certainly doesn't me. Okay, certainly doesn't hurt me because I'm long, and any of you hedge, you should always be net long the market. Okay, so at the end of the day, okay, we just had a huge negative revision in second quarter private wages of $91 billion. That money's got to go somewhere. Okay, so we can't continue to hide and put our head in the sand and say that there is not real legitimate issues or real legitimate problems here. Okay, and again, whether Trump is the answer or not, we can't say that there's not going to be issues. I mean, if they're going to do what they're talking about doing, which is cutting down some of the deficit and some of the other things, well, there's going to be some tough times for many, and it's going to be hard. But it's the only way to ever get back to some normalcy is to make the appropriate cuts. Okay, is to quit overspending because the bottom line is you and me are the ones who always have to pay for the overspending, right? They're not paying it out of their own pocket. They take raises. Okay, the taxpayers pay it. The rate cut, the two rate cuts we've had. Now, what a moronic thing that has been. Okay, has anybody's interest rates come down? Okay. Have you noticed that the 10-year notes are up 25%? Not 25 basis points, 25%, a full basis point, a full point higher than they were when they made the original rate cut. Have you noticed that? So the only one benefiting from the rate cut is who? Oh, the banks. Now, remind me, who owns the Federal Reserve? It is a private corporation. Who owns it? Don't all shout out the answer at once. Who owns the Federal Reserve? Does anybody know? The banks. Okay. So doesn't it make sense for them to want to cut the lending rate in which they're borrowing from the government? Okay. From the Federal Reserve Bank? Doesn't it make sense for them to want the rate lower so they can make a bigger spread and make more profit? Okay. So again, I think we'll see what these jobs numbers looks like this week, but the real key is we need the markets to do something. Okay. We need them to get off of this baseline of doing nothing because when they do nothing, it creates nothing. It creates no opportunity. And it doesn't matter. I don't care which way. I mean, I think the best way for us would be down. Okay. Not because I'm negative, not because I'm a bear, but because, of course, down markets create a lot more volatility. And if we can get some more volatility in the market, it would create a lot more activity. Does that make sense? So, anyways, look, at the end of the day, they are what they are, but you have to learn and be disciplined enough to sit back and not necessarily participate. Again, if you're buying a stock and you're hedging it, no problem. Okay. If you're looking at you're selling some premium, hey, no problem. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm once again short snow. Okay. I sold it. Like, I told you I got lost last week. I sold it twice. I'm selling it again. I just increased the size of what I sold because again, am I against the company? No, I don't really care about the company. I know I can read the pattern and I know that there's going to be some mean reversion. Now the question is, will it be in time? Because as the mean continues to go higher. But either way, these are the type of trades that you should be looking to make. Trades that are either overbought or oversold in any market. It can be commodities, it can be stocks, it can be futures. You can sell premium in any market. And that's what that's something to focus on because it keeps you from staring at the machine. Okay. It keeps you from doing things that are not good for yourself because again, the more we stare, the more likely we are to make a mistake or make a bad trade. All right? Has anybody ever done that? You stare long enough, you see something that really doesn't exist, but you found that it existed. So hopefully we're on the right side and the track to recovery of a country and recovery of a free market and recovery of, again, enough of this of us paying taxes for people that are not even citizens in this country. Okay. And interestingly enough, one of my neighbors works for Tom Homan. And he gave me a little insight of what they're going to be doing, and it's pretty exciting from my standpoint. Everybody may not agree with me, and I don't care. I'm not mad if you don't agree with me. You never have to agree with me, okay? But I'll be glad to get the illegals deported because I don't believe they belong here, and if they do belong here, I'm tired of paying for them. Okay, I'm tired of taking my hard-earned dollars that I work for and paying taxes to support them. If you agree, great. If you don't agree, that's okay too. Okay. Again, I don't have a problem with it, but I can tell you one thing. Okay. The the overall homeless population is getting awfully big. Okay. Here in Vegas, there's a lot of homeless. I mean, I'm not talking about 50, I'm talking about thousands. So, anyways, welcome back, everybody. Thanksgiving. And a reminder, well, not a reminder, but there will be no call next Monday because, of course, I'll be doing the Bubba Palooza starts next Monday. So there'll be no call until 2 weeks from today, which will be the 16th. But of course, I will update you all and give you the levels update so you have that. And Connie, I know you're ready, but I'll ask anyways. Are you ready? And the dark chocolates will be on their way, my dear. It's that time of year. Anyways, but you deserve them every day. In the meantime, the dollar X, the Delta X-ray. Okay. Again, we don't trade it anymore. We would have been short. Okay. And it has done exactly what we had thought about. It went up, got overbought, and came back down and reverted to the mean. So, okay. So we're going to assume for now that about 105 is going to be the support. Okay. Could be a little tighter, but we'll give it some room. 105 support, 107 resistance. So really, if you look at this overall, there really isn't a trade you'd want to make anyways. And very rarely are you going to ever want to make a trade that is around the mean. Okay. Because again, it doesn't know which way it's going to go from there anyways. So why bother? The euro currency, which we do have a position and we are long. Okay. And at the end of the day, okay, it looks to me that you found obviously solid support at about 103 and a half. Okay. I think now your support is around 104 and a half. Okay. And I think your resistance is at 106 and a half, 104.5 to 106.5. And I would think you'd see a little bit bigger rally. I don't know if you've been paying attention or if you watched the euro currency, but there's been a lot of volatility in the euro currency recently. Okay, a lot of swings up and down. I mean, very unusual that you'll see a penny or two move on a daily basis. Okay, and we have seen that for the last few days. Okay, look at these wide ranges. I mean, these are, if you're from top to bottom, these are $1,500 a whack on one futures contract. Okay, so again, we'll see. The notes have broken out, and of course, we are long. We've been long since down in here, and they continue to charge higher. Now, I would suspect you're going to see some sort of a pullback here. I would give the upside probably 112. You know, we got a big week for bonds and notes. So I'd say 112 is your resistance. 110 is your support. Okay. And again, these will be very much affected by, I don't know about as much on Wednesday with the ADP jobs, but certainly on Friday, they can make much bigger moves. But it does appear that they did find a bottom, and they could stay in an overall downtrend, but rally all the way back to right now 112. Okay. Without, again, it's good for us, but without making much change. Okay. The bond Zulu Bravo, same thing, up a little bit sharper. And again, you're getting to this stage where you've been now overbought for 4 out of the last 5 days, 3 days in a row. I would be a very interested seller from a trading standpoint, very short term at 120. Okay. And again, that's very narrow. We don't go that narrow usually. And I think 116 is your support. So we went from 116 to 122 to 116 to 120. Hi, Ash, how you doing? Okay. So again, look, they're going higher right now. They're very overbought. This is an opportunity. If you want to trade in this opportunity, again, you don't have to. Remember, sometimes not trading is the best trade you can make. Okay. It has now been, including the 2 days we took off, it has now been 7 days since we made a day trade, in the morning. And the 7 hours, in the hour a day we trade, or approximately, it's been 7 days, including 2 days that we did not trade it, or we didn't even try. Okay. But that's telling you how quiet the markets are. Bitcoin, Bravo Tango Charlie. Well, there you go. Reached the 100,000, which we said was a sale. That was last week. Came down. Now we're churning. So now we can identify 90,000 to 100,000. Okay. Now, again, we don't have a position in it right now. I would be looking to sell, not because I'm negative. Okay. Just because I believe that there's going to be a pullback into the 85 to 90,000 level. Okay. And I mean, I'm not looking to sell it today. Remember, just look down here. When you see that there's no action in volume, that's telling you, that's a red flag saying, hey, maybe you should not be looking here, son. Okay. Waiting for my XRP boat to come in. They keep saying it is. I don't know. Do you really, honestly, seriously, I'm going to ask you a serious question. Do you really believe it's going to come in? Is that your honest opinion, or are you just bullshit? And I'm asking for a very serious reason. Okay. Because, they're the ones who got themselves in a little bit of hot water years ago trying to work with the Federal Reserve. So I'm not so sure I want to be involved in. Okay. No, because some people do believe, okay, that it's going to really be the deal. Okay. And I don't think it is. So that's just my thing. But again, I'm very bullish cryptos. Obviously, the administration is very bullish crypto. Obviously, the administration is very bullish gold and silver as well. Okay. So those are things to think about. And of course, that brings us to gold. Golf Charlie. It's stuck in a range. It's 2,550 to 2,700. I think you could probably say, though, that 2,600 is now the support level. I think you're 26 to 27. Okay. And there's talk and rumor that we may end up going back on the gold standard again. I don't know. Again, obviously, there's always a lot of talk. Okay. The one thing, Ripple's the third largest. That sounds about right. They got everybody in that thing. The one thing that could yield and bring this back to the gold standard is in the crypto world is that this administration is a big believer in all of it, including Besant, the finance guy. So We'll see. Okay. In the meantime, gold is 26 to 27. Silver, just chopping around. So it's really made a narrow range. So I think you're looking still at like $30. Okay. I think you're 30 to 31 and a half or 32. Look, I'm looking for a spot to buy. Okay. I think that the metals have room to go up. Doesn't mean I won't sell them. Doesn't mean I won't get short. But again, I think they're in a position now to make another run. Okay. Wouldn't they want to make the US dollar more legit rather than go to gold? Well, no, that would the backing it with gold would make it more legit. Right now, all the fiat currencies are all scams. They're all manipulated, cartel-driven pieces of shit. Okay. That's what you got right now with currency, any currency. They have no backing at all. They can just print at will. Okay. That's what you've got. Okay. So no, it would be a backing of the US dollar. I mean, there's the big battle between the what is it, six BRICS nations now and like 30 more interested. And Trump said anybody who goes into BRICS gets 100% tariff. Again, this is all. How many of you have heard, or for how long have you heard, that the US dollar is not going to be the reserve currency? How many years have you heard that for? Ages. And it's still the reserve currency. Isn't that amazing? Okay. So again, we are still the strongest. We are still, as I've said before, we could still be an island. Okay. We are only missing some of the rare earth minerals. And I'm certain that our scientists could figure out a way to create them. So again, it'll never change. It's not going to change in our lifetime. How's that? Okay. In the meantime, platinum, it's the same as the others. It's just jerking around. It got down to about 940. I did buy some at 940. I haven't done anything with it yet. There's been nothing to do. Okay. So, but in the meantime, it's 920 to 1,000 now. But you could actually, depending on how active you want to be, and I would not recommend active. I would say 920 to 980. Yeah, UK was the reserve currency for a while. Okay. And Britain still is, yeah. But again, they're not as big and as strong as we are. And you're socialists over there. Copper, again, has done absolutely nothing. It's the same every week, 4 to 420. 4 to 420. Okay. Uh, Now, those of you in the futures models, we are adding micro copper to the fold soon. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? We will be adding this probably right after Vegas, okay, with our next training session. In the meantime, 4 to 420. Grain markets, they don't want to move, okay? You're still looking at that 540 in wheat as support for 540 to 580, okay? Corn, which we do have a position, we're short 420 to 440. And soybeans, 960 to 1040. At the end of the day, they're not moving. The volume is drying up. The whole dull market theory, you've all heard the saying that markets can be irrational longer than you and I can remain solvent. Well, that also goes for markets can remain dull forever. And typically, in a dull market, equities rally, commodities sell off. Okay, typically. Again, nothing is automatic, but that is something to keep in mind. Typically, the markets could continue to rally here. Now, obviously, interesting day today with the Russell and the Dow lower and the S&P and NASDAQ higher. But again, not a big surprise, but they've been rotating back almost daily. Okay. The cattle markets continue to, I still don't understand it. Now, they haven't stopped me out yet. I'm still short, but you're making a much tighter range. 190, 186. And feeders, which cracked hard today. And if I was trading feeders, they would be a short up here, or would have been a short. I don't trade them, but they would have been a short. But again, 252 to 260. They went right to 260 last week and stopped and turned over. Hogs, I never got my opportunity to get back in, and I guess I'm not going to get it because I won't. I refuse to buy them when they're trading up here. We don't trade anymore, but I think now 90 is your resistance level, and it appears that 86 is support. 86 to 90. Natural gas, which we're short, again, got overbought, coming back down, should retrace all the way to the mean. And again, it's been You haven't seen a big move in natural gas. Why? Because it's been, not only is there not as much demand, but there's been no weather. There's no need for, I mean, there's always a need, but you know what I'm saying? There's no real demand. And now every reserve is stocked up. But I think here you're looking at $3 at 360. But I would still be willing to sell. Crude stays in that same range we've been in for months, 66 to 72. Now I would think, well, let's take a look. Let me not think. Let me take a look and see if I have any evidence to share with you. I'm going to say before I look, and I haven't looked at this since last time we looked at it together. I'm going to say that crude oil a year from now is $5 to $10 cheaper than it is today. That's just a guess. Okay, we're going to find out right now. Oh, let's see. So we go a year from now, which is F of 25. F of 25 is right here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. F of 26. Excuse me. F of 26 is $5, almost not $5 cheaper. What is it? What are we trading at now? Crude's at 68. It's $3 cheaper. I think that spread is going to get wider. Okay. Because if we are going to go into drill, baby, drill, okay, and we are going to start creating our own shipments and quit being an importer and start being a net exporter, okay, I think those prices will come down, okay, and I wouldn't be surprised that if we get to, a year from now, if crude oil isn't at $40 a barrel, okay, I'm not saying it will be, I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me, okay, in the meantime, 66 to 62. And the softs, we don't cover them anymore, but just a quick view. Cocoa would be a short. Cotton would be nothing. Sugar would be a buy. Coffee, this must have been a rollover. There's no way it was down $22 today. This would be a nothing either way. And OJ, we wouldn't trade, but it'd be a nothing as well. Okay. And lumber, I know somebody always asks me for it, so I should just put it back on here. Lumber is still rallying. Now, again, you were at Home Depot today, KB. What's the price of lumber? Higher or lower? So again, I think it ain't cheap, that I know. I think my assumption is wrong. I think that these markets have nothing to do with what's going on in the overall economy. I always looked at copper and lumber as a way to get a bellwether, and I think it's wrong. I think it's not the same as we remember. In the meantime, we don't trade it because it's illiquid, but prices are higher here, and I know they're very high at the retail end. Yeah, I mean, again, there's certain things that we look at. It's like a lot of people like to look at the U.S. dollar and say, well, the dollar is strong, so commodities should be going down. Well, that is not always the case. Correlations don't have to happen at this moment. They could be anytime. Okay. Any questions on part one before we flip over to part two? I think I did wheat, but I'll do it again for you. I believe I said 540 to 580, if I'm correct. Oh yeah, I did. 540 to 580.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.